Hi, I welcome everyone to this channel once again. Nnamdi Kanu has been sentenced to prison, life imprisonment. This is no news, and this doesn't sit well with netizens. Everybody is complaining that this is a level of injustice to this man because he has only said so many things, but he hasn't done. But what they said is indicting and inciting violence in the country. Let's read what we got on BBC News. It said, a court in Nigeria has found separatist leader Nnamdi Kanu guilty of terrorism and other charges following a decade-long case full of drama. He has been given 4 life sentences along with other terms to be served concurrently. The prosecution had called for the death penalty, but Judge James Omotosho said that executions were now frowned upon. In his ruling, he said he was satisfied that Kanu had made a series of broadcasts to incite violence and killings as part of his campaign for a separate state in southeast Nigeria known as Biafra. Kanu was convicted on all 7 charges he faced, as well as terrorism. They included treason and involvement of an outlaw movement. What did this guy do? Say he wants, may we get another state. May we know he doesn't want Biafra country, so he wants to separate Nigeria. And I think a lot of people were on that note that, oh, we want Nigeria to be separated. Maybe by the time we'll do that, there's going to be peace in the land. Everything was just for the betterment of the country. We have the Yoruba nation had their intention. I don't think anybody has been arrested for that. They said what he said is indicting and it is causing violence. And a lot of Nigerians said that this is not, it doesn't sit well with them. That this is the first time they will hear people being convicted because of what they said. They said they just is an injustice to the southeast Nigerian. I hope this does not create war or does not create, tribal war among us. And I pray that this will sit well with the Igbo people. And they said the Northerners are there. They are, they carry gun everywhere, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody's arresting anybody. Gumi is there walking around. They have not, they have not executed him. They have not called him, prosecuted him. And we have that. So I think there's this double standard in our judicial system, but it is what it is. We are so sorry. Nnamdi has been sentenced to life imprisonment. I hope he found, pardon sometime, somewhere, later in the future. We don't know if it is real or it just, okay, let's just say so that it serve as a lesson to others. I don't know. Nigeria, you can't really understand what is going on in Nigeria. But as we say today, the internet is scattered because Kanu has been sentenced to life imprisonment. That's crazy.
Today we forever live in infamy. Today is the only day I have witnessed a man being convicted for mere buffering, for what he said from his mouth, not what he did with his own hands. The verdict is not consistent with the evidence laid before the court. The sentence is overbroad, cruel, and unusual. How can you convict a man for making mere broadcasts from a location that was never named, and he never tied that broadcast to any single incident of violence, or even someone slapping someone, not to talk of terrorism? He did all this. He didn't lay any evidence. I don't know where this whole verdict can be grounded in law, logic, or facts. We disagree with the judgment vehemently, and we are going to fight it from here onwards until justice is done. Judgment, politics is based on some tribal, primordial sentiments. Just because Mazin Nnamdi Kanu is Igbo. An Igbo man has become the person in Nigeria that should be trampled upon. I'm not saying this because I'm Igbo. I'll say it for the Hausa or Yoruba who gets trampled upon. But today we saw an Igbo man being trampled upon, and by God Almighty, we are not going to allow it. not stand. Nobody is going to trample on me. Nobody is going to trample on Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu is not a terrorist. He's a man that was pursuing change. To pursue a separate nation of yours is not a crime. So in Nigeria today, if somebody says don't be silly, you get convicted. Nnamdi Kanu may broadcast, and so what? And you convict him for terrorism for mere words in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What kind of precedent is being laid? So from here, we are heading to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal is the only court in this country, or the next court in this country, that sits as a jury. We are going to approach justices there to check out what happened in court today. And we are pretty sure the justices will agree with us that today was the symbol of the travesty of justice that everybody has been suspecting all along. If the Court of Appeal disagrees with us, we head to the Supreme Court. But by God Almighty, Nnamdi Kanu is not going to stand convicted. He's going to get overturned. Thank you.
First of all, I want to talk to the Igbos that nobody should take laws into your hand. I'm assuring you, this judgment is predicated on anger. Thank God that the judgment was streamed live and everybody watched it. You will see the anger in delivering the judgment, and it's not predicated on law. Now, I also want to let you know that this charge, that the investigation that gave rise to this charge was not investigated, because Nnamdi Kanu's statement, purported statement, was rejected by this court, and they did not tender any document as investigation report. That is to say, the investigation was not, the offense was not investigated. Having said that, also something that happened in court today, Nnamdi Kanu filed a matter in Court of Appeal, and he's asking, my lord, that particular matter I filed in Court of Appeal anchored on this particular issue. Please, can you just suspend this judgment? Let Court of Appeal direct what to do. My lord refused. Now, on the issue of anger, you journalists will bear with Nnamdi Kanu. Government, Nigerian government, and the judiciary are not fair to Nnamdi Kanu. What do I mean? Nnamdi Kanu was given judgment by Court of Appeal. Federal government refused to comply with that judgment given by Court of Appeal until after 8 days before the appeal against it. When we get to the Supreme Court directed prosecution on what to do. Amend this particular charge. Nnamdi Kanu was saying that, please, can you amend this charge? They refused. With the combined effect of all this, I'm assuring you that this judgment will not stand, and the Court of Appeal will do justice to it. Now, I also want to plead with judiciary. Nnamdi Kanu is representing himself, because the court has given the prosecution a blanket order to detain Nnamdi Kanu wherever they want. They should detain Nnamdi Kanu where we have access to file his appeal, because he has 90 days to file his appeal. And the judge said that the judgment will be ready in the next 15 minutes. I also enjoy the media. We have the record of proceedings from the day the matter came to this till today. I want you to check the record of proceedings and evidence tendered, reconcile it with the judgment. Now you now see what we are talking about. You are bringing British into this matter, bringing America into this matter. You are now trying to so that the British and America will be against Nnamdi Kanu. Something that was never an issue, that was never tendered, that was never given evidence on, and they are raising the issue. So this is a judgment against the Igbos. This is a judgment against the good people of Southeast, and it's because of Nnamdi Kanu is an evil. You cannot give this kind of judgment to a northern. You cannot give it to a southwestern. You cannot give it to another tribe in Nigeria apart from the Igbos. And we are going to start against it, because it has happened in this country against some other persons, including Abiola. The Igbos join hands together to fight against it. Why should you be our own time and everybody's sitting at home? It's unfair. Thank you.
One of us. The law is bigger than every one of us, and the law will take its course to deal with miscreants, to deal with terrorists, to deal with criminals. You know, all of us are victims when we keep quiet. All of us are victims when we don't do what we ought to do. Therefore, let everybody be a Nigerian. Thank you.
Amen, sir.